Hello everyone again, it is Tyler with Massage AME. I am bringing you another anatomy lesson here. It does say for massage therapists, but anybody who can benefit from this, please feel free to watch. So quadriceps. Quadriceps are the muscles that we find on the anterior side of our thigh or the front side of our thigh. Big flashy muscles everybody likes to look at. And I know you all want to know about these muscles because you're just so looking forward to looking like this guy when you're in the gym, pumping iron as it were. So yes, it is those quads that allow you to do those leg presses, and quads are involved not just in extending the knee, as you can see in this video clip here, but they're also responsible for hip flexion as well. I'll explain origin and insertion and all of that, so you can understand just how it is that they perform these movements and how they cross both respective joints, both the hip and the knee. So as the name quadriceps suggests, it's four. Quad meaning four, and ceps referring to heads. So it more or less translates to four heads. And so the first one to look at here, or the most superficial one, would be the rectus femoris. Now, the rectus femoris actually begins, or it originates at the AIIS, which is short for the anterior inferior iliac spine, and that's actually where it crosses over the hip joint. And so I mentioned earlier how the quadriceps, in particular this muscle, the rectus femoris, uh, it aids in hip flexion. That's how it does, because it does. That's where it starts. It originates there. Its insertion point, which you'll be finding to be common for all of the quadriceps, is the patellar tendon. The patellar tendon referring to your knee, your kneecap. It's called the patella. So it goes over into the patellar tendon, which eventually that tendon then meets at a bump just below your knee. And if you felt there, that would be what's called it's called the tibial tuberosity. Again, that bump just right below the kneecap. So that covers the bases then for the rectus femoris. And then I'll show you in another image here. There's a muscle that lies deep to the rectus femoris, and that would be the vastus intermedius. Now, this guy is just responsible for knee extension, okay? And you can find it originates on the anterior aspect of the femoral shaft, and then blends into that patellar tendon all the way down to the tibial tuberosity. So intermedius, its name suggests that it's in between two other muscles, in other words. And vastus means it's a big muscle, right? Vast, it would be where it comes from. So what it's in between is the two other major quadricep muscles, one being vastus medialis, the one that's more medial or more towards the middle, and then the other one being the vastus lateralis. Now, vastus medialis is found more on the medial aspect of the femoral shaft, all the way again to the patellar tendon, blends in there to that tibial tuberosity. And then vastus lateralis actually originates at the greater trochanter up into the high part there of the femur. And once again, it's responsible for the extension of the knee because it finds its way down into the patellar tendon and eventually, finds its way all the way to that tibial tuberosity. Excuse me, because that tendon overlaps over the patella, so you can perform that action. So this is all the quadricep muscles, what I call the true quadricep muscles, because we do have two other muscles that are found on the anterior compartment of the thigh. I sometimes refer to them as the wannabes, so we'll talk about them momentarily as well. So if you were to look just right above the rectus femoris in this image right here, the quadriceps are there in that brighter red color. So just right above it, you'll see this muscle. It's called sartorius. It makes like an S along the anterior side of your thigh. It actually starts at the ASIS, which would be the anterior superior iliac spine. It wraps all the way around to the medial part of your tibia, um, which would be, your leg, the area of your body that's just right below your thigh. Um, so on that medial side of your tibia, there's a junction there. It's uh, actually called the pes anserinus, which means goosefoot. Because of the three muscles that all attach there, it literally looks like a goosefoot, and so that's how they came up with that name. Very clever, right? Pes anserinus. Uh, Now, if you're curious about the other two muscles that make that up, look that up on your own time. But anyway, sartorius is an interesting muscle and what it does for the hip joint as well as the knee joint. When it comes to the hip, it actually does lateral rotation, and it also does flexion of the hip, and it also performs abduction of the hip. And so I like to refer to this sometimes as like a hacky sack muscle. If you were playing hacky sack, this muscle would be engaged and kicking up um, that little hacky sack, And also, it can, as far as the knee is concerned, it can actually be involved in knee flexion as well as some medial rotation of the tibia. Uh, but yeah, it otherwise mainly functions as or serves for most people as a hip movement in the three that I just mentioned. Now there is one last muscle not pictured here. It's called the articularis genu muscle, and it's found, excuse me, just below above the patella. And its main function is to move a bursa that is found there, so that way it doesn't become entrapped between the patella and the femur itself when you extend your knee and lock it out. And so it's very important to have that muscle there so as not to cause irritation of that bursa. So there you have it. There are your quadriceps, and you're hopefully have an understanding of their importance, whether you're in the gym doing some squats, leg presses, whatever. Whether you're just some kind of an athlete, an enthusiast of some kind, riding your bike. Maybe you're a martial artist trying to do those high kicks. That's what makes it all possible when you have these quadriceps. Thank you so much for watching. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to this channel. I do put a lot of work into these videos. It does mean a lot to me. And also, it would be great to have you subscribe because I will be making a video on bodywork for the quadriceps. So stay tuned for that. And again, I cannot express to you enough just how much it means to me that people have been tuning into this channel, and I will be putting out more content for everybody to view soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take care now.